Hello
And welcome
to Snack Club. It's good to be
While
different.
others harmonise, we dissonise.
Oh yeah. So speaking of different, this is going to be a very fun and exciting show for Snack Club because we're going to do something we've never done before.
Yay!
Which is respond to an unknown challenge. Actually, I do that all the time.
Yeah.
Every day I wake up.
So good at this.
You deal with like the consequences of the inherent chaos of the universe, but also all of the mistakes you made the day before and then like forgot about. So
I can probably sum this up in the fact that James Bonk wrote this challenge but already forgot what it was.
yeah,
So we're both coming in fresh.
that's a beautiful thing.
It's a beautiful thing.
Do you want to do the honors?
Ooh, okay, yeah. Ooh, okay. I might have to go and do some research for this.
Okay.
The challenge is, what future is invoked by the album cover for TLC's fan mail album and the music video for No Scrubs?
Oh! Yes!
Yeah.
No, now I do remember
It's
writing
all
this, and I'm
about
really
you.
excited to talk about it.
That's
Ooh.
my nerdy little glasses on. Oh, okay, wait. This is for seeing into the future.
This is for seeing the TLC album cover. Interesting. Okay. This is TLC fan mail.
Oh, wow.
They've been
We should have painted ourselves like this for this challenge.
painted ourselves like silver,
Silver,
blue,
with
digital.
the magenta lip.
Yeah. So they look like almost digital ghosts on the album cover. And then in the No Scrubs music video, we have a variety of different costumes. Some of them are more like leather oriented, but some of them have this like silver cyberspace tinfoil looking energy.
Yeah.
So I guess it's like, why are they dressed like that? Aside from the obvious reason of it's brilliant. What future are they living in? What world are they living in?
Digital feminism, you know. Like,
Digital feminism?
Yeah, cyberspace.
Maybe they're not real.
What does gender mean in a digital world?
That's a really interesting thing to explore.
Mm.
We're gonna spit up for what will spiritually represent like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But it will just be,
But that's
we're gonna
daytime,
feel
that's
it.
drag time, that's exactly, you just read the energies.
It's emergent space-time,
Yeah.
which we did try to talk about in another episode, but we got real confused.
Yeah.
So, in emergent space-time, it's going to be 10 minutes. We're going to explore the future that is invoked by this artwork. And we're going to
come back.
We're going to come back with ideas and concepts to pitch.
Okay, I'm so ready.
Alright, let's do this. Let's snot out.
And we're back.
Welcome back.
I've got my glasses on so you know it's serious.
Serious business. We're going to present the findings.
Okay.
Do you want to tell us a bit about like your method? Like, you feel like you used some inquiry skills?
Well, instantly the music video spoke to me of like cyber feminism and like digital spaces and that feminist movement that was emerging around the time. Especially
that. What do you mean that feminist movement? That
literally
was
like
around?
Cyber feminism.
I've never heard of that before.
A critical theory that people were writing about starting from like 1997, so just before this.
What?
And onwards, like Donna Haraway's The Cyborg Manifesto, where she talks about how like digital technologies are like creating us as cyborg beings and like can extend our senses. And yeah, it's really cool. And the possibilities of interacting without gender and race in online spaces.
Epic!
Yeah,
okay!
yeah. I can drop some like reference links in
Yes,
in the description of this video.
Love that.
Glitch feminism.
Glitch feminism. Oh, that's really interesting that that's what it spoke to you of, because without having ever heard of that, I went down a very similar path.
Interesting, yeah. You were reading it.
I was reading it. I was thinking about... I actually wrote the dissolution of the digital and IRL binary.
Yes.
Because I think this is hinted at in the album cover. They look like digital representations of women, right?
Yes, but they don't have any bodies.
They don't have any bodies.
Which is so interesting.
And isn't that interesting as well in terms of like digital assistants often being Femme-coded and
but
bodiless.
bodiless, absolutely.
Whoa!
And the fact that their skin was changed to be silver.
Yes!
So that was really speaking to me about the possibilities of race and gender in a cyber world.
Yeah. Okay, what's your vision of the future?
Oh god, okay.
You've got a lot of text there.
I do have a lot of text. Well, I was kind of going back and forth about how I felt about it. Like, I feel like it's trying to speak to that hopefulness of what the cyber age will bring. I found this great quote about Afrofuturism, which was a movement that actually started like back in the 60s with the space race and like the original futurism aesthetic. But I'll read it. It's by Alexandria Fiorento Swinton in her article examining the Millennium Cyberspace Age. Afrofuturism is a counterpoint to the view that blackness is intrinsically primitive, imagining a world in which space and technology are explicitly tied to black prosperity.
Yeah.
So that was originally with imagining the possibilities on other planets, but by the 90s, it had moved into imagining the possibilities in the cyberspace age. And that one line where she says, if you can't spatially expand my horizons, that leaves you in a class with scrubs never rising.
Oh!
I was like, yeah!
You're so right!
Yeah.
Okay, so I was thinking about this, like, I see them as, like, justice-oriented people, right? They're practicing fighting. I've drawn a diagram of
This is so beautiful.
Thank you! There's this scene during the rap where she has a silver helmet with these spikes that have, like, orbs on the end. And to me, it really looks like that's meant to transmit or receive something, right? And in my head... And she's got this, like, proprioceptive sensors on her gloves as well. And she's got, like, battle gear. And I think she's fighting, like, via electromagnetic waves.
Wow.
Because there's so much electromagnetic communication going on. Like, 5G, that's 5 gigahertz, right? But then you've got everything down to, like, radio and phone. And there's 50 hertz coming from, like, fluorescent lights and stuff.
I'm thinking about that part where she's in the cage of light. Maybe that's an electromagnetic blocker.
A Faraday cage.
Yeah.
Oh, and I imagine that they're in this training facility because together they're looking for digital justice and they're trying to get rid of these scrubs who are tech bros who might, you know, maybe they do live at home with their mama. Maybe they do, like, I don't know, wear the same t-shirt every day for 5 years. Because unfortunately, like, the ownership of internet spaces and the ownership of communication, which is such a hugely powerful thing, the ownership of all the channels with which we disseminate information is probably held by men we don't trust.
Yeah.
So in my vision of the future, like, we might be well into a climate crisis. We might be well into a space where people do spend a lot of time indoors and they do communicate a lot online. I mean, that's kind of happening now.
Yeah.
Like, TLC.
You might be indoors and online right now.
Yes. But TLC is actually fighting, like, with their digital avatars. They're training, they're in combat, they're learning to, like, tap into the waves as they transmit through space.
Wow.
And, like, push for justice in those spaces.
That's so powerful.
Yeah. You know what caught my eye? Right at the beginning, it says TLC, and there's sort of like, it looks like you're going through a tunnel. You could almost be like traveling through a wire.
That's what it felt like to me, going into the wires.
You're entering, like, the digital space. You're entering the internet physically, because remember, the internet is just wires that go through the ground.
Yeah.
And then you emerge, and the first thing you see is the mail icon. And I'm kind of imagining that, like, maybe a boy has just sent a DM, but like,
it's a digital scrub.
And these, like, all of the lights turn on in this facility, and TLC is, like, waking up. They're like, no! They're like, bitch, you better be worth my time.
They're your request, just deleting them.
Yes, they're seriously,
thank you.
They're out there just washing away.
And that
men
mail
you don't need to
icon
talk
is
to.
on the album cover as well.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Because the album's called Fan Mail.
Fan mail.
So.
Oh, that's interesting. Do you think it's called fan mail because people are sending them fan mail, or do you think they are?
It's a really interesting album title. I wonder if that's one of the singles that I haven't heard, but.
Yeah, we need to do further
We need
research
to do further
on that.
research on the TLC history. Because, this did make me realise that this was an era that I was not really alive for. That everyone was doing futuristic music videos and stuff.
That's true. I've seen this meme going around that's like, why does every music video from this era look like it's filmed inside a cheese grater? And this is one of those. Like, true to its time, artifact inside of a cheese grater filming. And it looks amazing.
It looks really cool. They must have had budget.
I guess so. And like the makeup, the costumes. Even there are some scenes that defy gravity, like someone's singing in the front standing on flat ground and somebody just walks behind her across the wall.
That's so cool. I didn't notice that.
Yeah, well that's one of the things that made me think they're in a digital training facility.
Yes. And they've got like the Fifth Element outfits and stuff.
Yes. That was something that I meant to research but didn't get around to. There are these like shiny, like it's like a silver circle with like a bump in the middle, almost like a giant metal nipple. And it kind of looks to me like something that you would use to measure impact from like an explosion or something.
Interesting.
And I wonder, because they kind of look like combat outfits, right?
Yeah.
Why are they so protected?
Yeah.
There are even some scenes where they seem to be wearing like fireproof suits. It's like shiny and metallic.
Yeah.
And I was like, is this post-climate crisis? Is that what you wear when you go outside? Or is that how you appear digitally?
Interesting.
What was did you have an alternate vision of
Ultimately,
like the future it invokes?
Yeah, ultimately, I don't know if it's the ideal utopia. With the Fifth Element reference, the one thing I noticed was this seems like an incredibly sanitized version of that world.
Yes. So in the Fifth Element, it's very grunge future.
Grunge, yeah, like, I don't know, dystopian almost. But
I don't know if I'd call the Fifth Element dystopian. I think it's just like the world we live in today, but more.
We live in a dystopia.
No, we live in a busy place.
Okay, maybe I just don't like busy places.
And the sensory overload comes back again.
Like, ultimately, it was strange to me that they're in this pristine environment.
Yes.
And it's only them there. Like, ultimately, it spoke about the sanitization of the internet and like the corporatization and who we allow in and what we don't allow in, you know?
Do you think that the internet is sanitized?
I think a lot of spaces are. Like, we were imagining this utopia and instead we've got like ad restrictions and like, you know what I mean?
So they in the past thought that the internet would be
like an equalizing, it would be a level playing field, and I don't think that that's what's happened, but I think this kind of reflects that. Like, when they said no scrubs,
they're also talking about a financial barrier here.
Exactly, they're talking about the people that they're excluding and leaving behind.
Yes.
These are the people that the future will not be for.
People with no money.
Yeah, the scrubs.
The scrubs.
What's wrong with living at your parents, you know?
As many of us do in this rental crisis.
Do in this economy.
Yeah. I think that's really, really interesting as well, because if you don't have access to like internet spaces, if you are a scrub that's left behind at the moment, if you're in the half of the world that doesn't have internet, we've just done it's like the ice has cracked and half of it's gone down like that, and like you can't, it's now so much harder to elevate yourself out of that or to change your situation if you don't already have like status on the internet, I guess.
Yeah, like I think they were trying to imagine this level playing field, but ultimately it was sanitized and scrubbed clean. Lots to think about.
Lots to think about.
I saw a lot of other music videos that I really want to watch now. Like Missy Elliott was doing cyberspace stuff.
Oh my goodness. We have to go on this journey.
We have to get in there.
Oh, yeah. I think this raises some really interesting questions about like what we're going to do with the internet on the future, and like where is our power and our potential to regulate massive data, or to regulate monopolies on the internet, to regulate government involvement in the internet.
Absolutely.
And to make it equitable.
Yeah.
How do we make this whole new world equitable?
It's such a massive resource.
Yeah.
But it's kind of corporately controlled right now.
There are bodies that regulate the internet, like in terms of its physical constraints of like, this is how different machines need to code themselves so that we can all talk to each other. Like, this is why you need to write HTTPS. This is why you need to write www.
Yeah.
This is how we sell domains. Like, all of those sort of rules and ideas are made by like 7 different regulatory bodies.
Wow.
And they're mostly not like governments, I guess. Some of them do have major people from like Microsoft and Google in them.
Yeah.
Others are taking delegates from like universities and things around the world. Like, I really want to know how these things came about.
This is so interesting that we don't even really know how it works and who's controlling the system.
Exactly. Who's controlling the internet? Because individual countries can make laws about sort of what comes in and out of their own country, but like the internet as a whole, I feel like we've just created like Earth 2.0 overlaid. Like, it's a different space. Does it need its own government?
Crazy.
How do we as a people like collectively make the rules for something we've never encountered?
Yeah.
The Ada Lovelace Foundation, which does a lot of like internet research and stuff, named after arguably the world's first computer programmer, Ada Lovelace. They have this report called Rethinking Data and Rebalancing Digital Power.
Ooh. Balancing on my digital power.
And when I saw that, I was like, oh, finally! Like, I'm so glad someone has been thinking about this thing that I've been worried about. And they have this whole roadmap to like how we can have a more equitable internet where we as people have control over the data. Because, obviously, you know, it's so hard to do anything without selling your soul.
Yeah.
Like, my Instagram ads have become positively insane because I liked some posts about healing, and now I'm getting ads that are like, if your mother was neglectful, that's making you procrastinate. And we can fix it with like a 3-day Zoom workshop or an app or something. And then the apps that want to like fix your ADHD or help you get on top of it, they're always like, sign up for a month, give us your credit card details, and then you have ADHD and you forget. And then they have your credit card details and they'll charge you like $30 a month or whatever.
That's actually genius. We should make one of those apps. Anyway, sign up now to Snark.
I hate
They're
that
targeting
it works.
the one audience that will definitely forget and get charged.
Exactly! It's predatory!
That's so good.
They're gonna get you. They know your brain. And they're gonna get your money.
They've collected your data and targeted you with ads.
And not only that, they have so much data about everyone else that they've become really, really good at predicting your behavior.
Yeah.
Like, they know you better than you know yourself. They have, like, the keys to human nature.
Yeah. You know, like, based on these 20 things you interacted with, you're less likely to cancel your free trial on time.
Yes!
That's crazy.
But anyway, the Ada Lovelace Foundation.
They sound cool.
They are super cool. They do really interesting research. But I think the issue is, like, they are mostly research, and now we need their findings to be realised somehow in policies and stuff. Because they had great recommendations. They had this roadmap. Like, here are 4 interventions, they called them. Because it is time for an intervention.
Internet, let's talk.
Yeah. We're worried about you.
Recently.
And they sort of forecasted this future where, you know, if we do the interventions correctly, you would have a whole bunch of different companies who you might be using for like social media or messaging or like whatever you use the internet for. They would all the companies would have to be sort of able to communicate with each other, and all your data should be easily portable. In the same sense that like there are different mobile phone providers, and I can say, I want to keep my phone number and move to a different provider. You'd be able to do that with all your data. Just up and go, and all your friends would still be able to contact you.
I was reading about this recently, that like there's so many regulations around like phone numbers and landline services and the postal service.
And radio.
At radio, because that used to be our main form of communication. And we did not shift those regulations over to the internet, which is now our main form of communication.
Yes, because I guess the internet was created always in a corporate space. Like the first computers we knew of, IBM, International Business Machine, it was only for businesses to communicate with each other.
Yeah. And we've had these regulations before. We just need to move them to the digital space. Like, it's not a radical suggestion.
But is it harder because who owns the internet?
Yeah.
But who paid for the cables to be laid under the sea? That's what I want to know. I don't know. The internet's crazy.
Who's laying these cables under the sea?
Who's laying these cables?
Turn the freaking frogs gay.
Oh, I saw this great artwork about like one of the undersea cables breaking and the internet like leaking out into the real world and like digital fish and stuff.
Oh my god.
Oh,
TLC crawls out finally.
What would they do if they were under the water? Would they still be fighting scrubs?
I think they'd be fine, yeah. Well, see, that's the interesting thing, because they were doing a lot of fighting in that music video, but you know what was absolutely absent?
Scrubs?
Scrubs. There were no scrubs.
There were no...
The title was true, there were no scrubs.
There were no scrubs!
They were alone, like, they were fighting nothing.
I find that so interesting, because it's like... In the video game Halo...
Yes.
You are in a space that it feels a bit like the TLC music video. You can move through and there's like tunnels and like more open areas, but it feels like an airport or something, a liminal space, a space where there should be people. And the fact that it's only you and maybe your one other friend who's trying to kill you.
Yeah.
It's very stressful.
Exactly. Like
you're alone and being watched.
If you cut the music, I think it would have that atmosphere.
It would be like...
Because these rooms are barren. Like, they look like tunnels. They are so sleek.
Oh, one of them had like a giant fan on the end. It looked like you were in a duct or something. Are they like... Did they clear the scrubs out, or is this their training facility where the scrubs cannot access it in the first place because it's like high security?
Yeah, I think the vibe is like, scrubs can't even get in here.
And they're just practicing for next time they encounter one.
Next time they see a scrub.
Ooh. So we've
so much to think about. Thank you for such a great prompt, by the way.
You're so welcome. I'm glad we got to discover it together.
Yeah.
Forgotten about it.
Oh.
Yeah, I feel like we're really dove headfirst into internet justice.
Yes.
And what are our key findings today? Be suspicious of money and power.
Yep.
Go check out the Lovelace Foundation.
Yeah. Afrofuturism is cool. But always be mindful of who is excluded in a space.
Yeah. Who's not there?
Yeah.
Who's not on the internet?
Who's not here? That's a question that you don't think to ask.
Thanks for being with the big questions on...
This is so fun. Wait, should we is there a title for this game that we just played?
Is there a title? To me, this is like a Snart Club design challenge.
Okay.
Snart Club investigation. Detective Snart.
Detective Snart.
What do you think it should be called?
God, I don't know. Snart investigations. Snart
searches.
Like research, but
Snart search.
Okay, good.
And we're like
Snart
searching for that
challenge.
truth.
Yeah.
Okay. It's like Smart Search.
Yes.
But Snart Search.
Thank you for joining us for the first ever Snart Search.
Yes.
It was such a good time.
Thank you for searching. Look what we found.
One of these days we'll find it. That elusive snart.
The elements of snart?
That elusive snart.
That elusive snart.
On the search, on the hunt. Look out for the snart in your lives.
And always ask who's not there.
Yep. If I'm not there, why not?
Why wasn't I invited?
Why wasn't I invited? Literally. You know who wasn't in the TLC No Scrubs music video? Yeah.
We were snart searching.
Fuck?
We did not find
I
any
didn't even
snart.
see myself there.
Crazy.
So rude.
Maybe you were there vibrationally. Your electromagnetic field was there.
I was the fan.
You were the fan that gave the fan mail?
Yeah.
What if the fans were mailing you?
What if the fans were male? Or just remember...
Goodbye from Bonk.
Goodbye from Zero. And never stop scrubbing.